Well, folks, right now we're in LSU football ops with Andre Anthony. Andre, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this interview.
No
Great to see you.
No problem. Yes, sir. You too.
This year, this is your 6th year at the school, right?
Yeah. It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey. A lot of excitement, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. That's part of it, though. But it's been great, man. I've enjoyed my time here. I felt like I did what I needed to do. Definitely, it's been a ride though, but it's been enjoyable.
Some people are asking me, can you get a 7th year? I think you've exhausted it all. Huh?
Yeah, I did my time, so nah. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on for the younger guys. So.
Well, there's so much I want to talk to you about. First off, let's talk about what's going on presently with this LSU team. The guys are getting ready to play in a bowl game. How do you think, what do you sense in talking to them right now? They're excited about
everybody's excited, especially like the young guys who haven't got to experience a bowl game. But it's big, you know, we didn't get to go to one last year, but this year, you know, to have one, to get those young guys that experience, you know, to go to one. And then especially like the guys going out, to be able to play in a bowl game before they left, play their last game. So it's really been good, just getting the guys ready. Coach Davis is going to do a good job getting them ready, you know. So it's going to be a good one, though.
What have you seen or heard from Brad Davis in terms of leading this team? It is history. LSU football has never had an African-American head coach, and it'll be for one game, but it is history making. Oh yeah,
it's big for him, and like he said in his interviews, he said he's going to make the most of it, and that's what he told us. He's going to make the most out of the opportunity. He's going to push us, obviously, no matter, you know, who we have out, who's playing and who's not playing. Like, he's going to get the best, you know, out of us. And that's how he always been. Even with the O-line, like seeing his enthusiasm with the O-line and stuff like that, how better, you know, they've got over time with him coming in. Like I said, he's gonna, you know, we're happy for him. And we're going to do our best to, you know, make sure we come out with a win.
Yeah, Andre, I would say that Coach Davis has gotten pretty good reviews from everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Who've been around him.
Raving reviews.
And the offensive line has steadily got better, it seemed, as the year went on.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he stays on them. He don't play. One thing about him, he don't play. He's definitely been, you know, one of those coaches who's gonna stay on you. You know, he's one of those guys just like Carter. Like, I want to develop the youngest, the guy, you know, who may not be good. You know, he try to develop everybody in the room, because you never know when your opportunity is gonna come up, when we're gonna need you for a big time game. So you just never know. And they've like built a great relationship with him. Even around, like, you know, other players too, like from other positions. Man, Brad just is a good all-around guy. So.
You can never have too many offensive linemen or defensive linemen or any position
always
at this level of SEC football. Brian Kelly, any early impressions of him?
Yeah, we talked twice. A great guy, a great coach. You know, from what he did at Notre Dame, a great record. You know, I feel like, you know, you know, he may not have had the athletes, you know, you can get right now that we have in SEC football. So he's a winner. Well, obviously, we know that from his track record. So really, the sky's the limit here. You know, we got, you know, better resources with everything we got here. So obviously, he's going to take advantage of that. But just personally, like, you know, personality-wise, and him just as a person, he's a great coach. So. Yeah,
and change it's not clean and easy.
Yeah.
You know, Tommy Moffitt, strength and conditioning coach here, over 20 years, not coming back next year. Corey Raymond, defensive backs coach here for a decade, played here in the late 80s, early 90s. Other coaches not coming back. Even, you know, people that work in this building that the average Joe Blow doesn't know about, a secretary or something like that. They may not be back. We'll see. So what's it been like for you to watch all that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, being older and seeing a lot of things, like I've been through like, what, 4 or 5 D-line coaches, man. So here.
3 head coaches, right?
3 now. So it's like.
2 again.
you know, one thing I learned, adapt and adjust, you know, it's part of the business. Like, you know, you might be with a coach for a year, they gonna, regardless of what position, head coach or not, that's part of the game, that's part of the business. So you gotta be ready for it. You gotta be open to it, you know. If you're not open to it, then, you know, you're just gonna be, you know, somewhat miserable, not, you know, I don't wanna say not getting better or nothing like that. Like, you gotta be open to it, because stuff happens, things happen. Like I say, adapt and adjust. So just be open to the change. You know, sometimes change is good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You never know. You might, you know, right now you may not like it, but after a while you'll see, you know, that could help. Things could change. So. You
had 4 D-line coaches?
Yeah, Meatball, Dennis Johnson, Bill Johnson,
Pete Jenkins?
Pete Jenkins, and Coach Carter. Yep.
How about that?
Yep.
So you see, all these offensive players, you know, they always get the attention when, I don't say they whine, but you know what I'm saying? I've had this many offensive coordinators. What about the defensive guys? Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we go through the same thing. Yeah, we go through the same thing, man. So, like I said, no matter who, because everybody got their own philosophy of the way they do things. So, like I said, you just got to be ready, open to change, you know what I'm saying, willing to do it, and really just, like I said, adapt and get used to, you know, that way of doing things. And, I mean, all it is another tool in the toolbox, you know, so that's all that is. So it's always good, though. So
this year in particular, so it was the 3rd game of the year against Central Michigan. Derek Stingley comes up and makes this violent hit, like arms and legs are flying everywhere. The ball flies out. Andre Anthony, number 3 there, picks it up, runs into the north end zone for a touchdown, and you know, I guess that was your last big moment. Huh?
Yeah, it was. The crazy part was that, I mean, that happened, but it, like, obviously scoring a touchdown in Tiger Stadium. Like I said, I always wanted to be a, you know, in my heart, you know, deep down, I always wanted to be a running back. So the opportunity, so, you know, when I saw that ball come out, man, I'm like, look, I'm about to get it, and I'm not going down. And the only person I had to beat was the quarterback. And, you know, I saw him, I'm like, look, I don't know how this was about to happen, but I'm not going down. I was going to drag him in the end zone or something. I was getting in the end zone. But just being able, that moment in itself, just being able to score a touchdown in Tiger Stadium, man, that was, like, crazy. Like the next 2 or 3 series, bro, like, I couldn't even, like, catch my breath. Like, I was like, bro, this really happened. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They say move on to the next play.
Yeah, I was still.
When you have a play like that, it's kind of move on to the next play.
Like, got inhalers and everything, like, trying to catch my breath. Like, I'm like, man, this, you know, it really happened. Then I kind of gathered myself.
It was different to kind of see a guy of your size wear number 3 running into the end zone with the ball. That was,
I had to make sure I kept good form, you know, show everybody my high and tight, you know, show everybody my ability that I can do, you know, both sides. So, you know.
When you got hurt just a little bit later in that same game, did you know that this is bad?
Yeah, I kind of knew it was bad when I felt it. When I felt it happen, I knew it was bad. And then, like, I wasn't trying to think about it. Nobody wanted to tell me nothing or say nothing about it. The doctors kind of knew, but they didn't want to say nothing because they didn't want, like, I know I can get emotional, especially if it was like a big injury like it is, ACL. So it was just like, at the moment, ain't nobody want to say nothing.
Yeah.
But after, like, getting an MRI and stuff like that, they had told me what had happened, and it was just like, it was devastating, you know, because everything was going so well,
That's what
so
you
good.
waited for.
Exactly.
You worked for. Yeah.
Everything was just, you know, happening, and then, you know, it's just one of those obstacles, you know, you just hit a bump in the road. So now I just got to keep going.
What was it like just to see all the things that you guys were planning for and kind of what you built around? The guys that you were counting on, for example, you were going to be on one end and Ali Gay was on the other. It was going to be Derek Stingley on one corner, Elias Ricks on the other corner. You had all these, and one by one, I mean, I don't know the numbers in front of me. I think it's something like 17 of the 22 guys or something like that started the UCLA game by the end of the year were not in the lineup.
Yeah, it was crazy, like how it was happening back to back, and everybody with all these injuries, man. It just was crazy. I mean, it's nothing you can predict. I mean, you always prepare like the next man up. We say that because you know you never know what can happen. So obviously, like you said, we prepared as a team with those guys and stuff like that. But you know, as the year went on, just injuries, and that's, you know, it may not have been big, but that's like normal for a team that
and some
injuries.
People needed somebody to blame, and the strength and conditioning coach Tommy Moffitt. I mean, I saw things on social media blaming him, but it was the same program that it was in 2019,
yeah,
right?
It's the
when
same.
You're 15 and 0.
It was the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I mean, like you said, like I said, you can't really do nothing. Like, injuries happen, you know. Yeah. Like, with the Saints right now, like, there's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people out, you know what I'm saying. So it's really nothing you can predict. All you got to do is prepare for it. So, because you just never know any given Sunday who can be out. So it's just been crazy.
That's a rough thing about it. Yeah, that's a great point on your part. Jameis Winston, right?
Yeah.
He waits his turn, and they were 5-2 that day. They beat the Bucs.
That was good. Yep. I was at that game.
You were there?
Yep, I was at that game. Yep, Devin. Yep.
They
got him a little bad.
Oh yeah, Devin White there, and Devin made the tackle on James.
Just caught him at a bad angle, but but the Saints been battling through injuries, these last couple of weeks with Kamara and Taysom just coming back. Their two tackles been out, Michael Thomas. So it happens. It happens. So.
What was it? The mantra over here has always been, or it's been for 5 or 6 years, block out the noise, right? Block out the noise. The guys who control whether we win or lose are in this building. We don't worry about Twitter. We don't worry about social media. But it had to be hard this year with all the talk about Coach O's status and is he going to be fired or not. What was it like, and how did that kind of become a strain when you did lose some games and this looked like it was going to become a reality?
I mean, like we say, we see it though. As the young guys, we're always on social media, so it's not like, I mean, it's kind of hard to do that because the guys are always on social media all the time. So we see it, we hear it, but at the same time, we don't let it affect us when we come here, when we come to practice, when we're in meetings. You know what I'm saying? Or come game day, like what's gonna happen outside of here is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta focus on, what we need to do here. And the same thing with everything else. Like, we control what we can control. As players, like, all we can do is go out to practice every day, do what we need to do, go to class or whatever like that, and just, help each other out and win a game and make sure we're ready to play in a bowl game. So, and that's been the whole thing throughout the year. Yeah. Staying together as a team, no matter what's going on with coaching and all that stuff like that, like, we the ones out there playing. So, as long as we stayed together, and which we did, as long as we stayed together, like that was as long as we didn't fall apart, we were gonna be good. So. And
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to hit on that real quick before I move on to some other things during the year. But even after you were hurt, I would see you on the field during pregame warm-ups and during games and everything. You continue to remain engaged with the program, your teammates and everything. Tell me about doing that.
Man, that just comes with the leadership role, regardless if I'm hurt, I'm not playing or whatever the case may be. My thing is to lead those guys, make sure I'm there, I'm their brother, help them out whenever I can or whatever they need, questions with the young guys, older guys, you know what I'm saying? If we need a talk as a team, still be that leader, don't shy away and just not come around like, no, that wasn't what I want to do. I want to still be there, show up, support. I'm at practices. Once I'm done rehab, I'm out there watching them practice.
And you could maybe here and there give them a piece of information?
Oh yeah, like I'm on the sidelines. Like if I'm watching the D line when they're in, and I'm like, oh look, this is what they're doing. This is what what we need to do to fix this. I'm helping the coaches out. Like this is what plays they're running on there that's killing us, or whatever the case may be. So I was still somewhat, like I said, that leader, that coach. I was still there, and that's what I want to do.
So the Kentucky game went down in Lexington, which is a rough night across the board, and there was some talk, okay, they're going to make a coaching change now or whenever. You go through the week, there is no change. LSU beats Florida on an early morning Saturday game in Tiger Stadium, a shootout, kind of a surprise for a lot of people. And then Sunday becomes official, Coach O's not coming back. Were you shocked by that? When did you find out? When the news broke on Sunday?
I mean, it was talks about it like before, so I mean, like I said, obviously you see everything on social media where they're about to fire him or whatever the case may be. To us, I mean, we kind of we heard it, so it was like it wasn't like unknown to us. But
then to win the game and then
it happened, but like I said, we got to control what we control. It's a business. We can't control nothing what they decide to do. So I mean, it wasn't so much a surprise because it was like, it was talks about it so much.
Right.
So when it happened, it was like, okay, wow,
Well, you go far enough back to Les Miles being fired in 2016, and then Orgeron becomes the interim. In this case, Orgeron is not coming back, but he's still the head coach.
Yeah.
it seemed like there was maybe some fans, some trepidation. Is this going to be a disaster? How's this going to go? And although you didn't win as many games even after he was dismissed, it seemed like, from the effort the guys gave at Alabama, the effort in the Arkansas game, it didn't seem like the level of effort dropped off.
No. And like I said before, it's just like I said, as a team, like no matter what's going on outside of the players, it don't matter. Like I said, control, we can control, and that's what we can control. How we play, how we go out there, like no matter what's going on, no matter the circumstances, like look, we got something to prove. Like it don't matter who we playing, like we gonna go out there and make sure we do what we got to do. So, and that was the whole motto the rest of the year. With everything going on with the Coach O stuff, who's gonna be coming in, like no, like they ain't got nothing to do with us. Like what we can control is what we do on this field. So.
That's an interesting time. Sorry, I mean it's interesting time right here in this building because on one end you've got Brian Kelly, the new head coach, who's moving forward, and as Andre and I are sitting here, National Signing Day is Wednesday, so trying to get those recruits, and then you've got another facet in Brad Davis, who's going to be part of the staff next year, who I guess is also recruiting and trying to prepare the team. So it's a crazy time over here right now.
Oh yeah, it's busy. Everything's happening at one time, and that's same thing what Brad said, man. Like we got to do what we got to do. And what we have right now in front of us is to go out, practice every day. These last practices before bowl game, go out there and do what we need to do, and whatever happens after that, we'll be prepared for it. So.
Let's go back to 2019 because, like I've talked to people. When you're in a football program, a player, a coach, whatever, there is no time to be reflective, right? I mean, it's always, even if you're a parent, I talked to Jamar Chase's parents when he won the Biletnikoff. It's like, we're just, it's one game and then we're on to the next game and then the next game. There's no time to really say, man, we're having a great year.
Oh, yeah.
So in 2019, now that you've stepped out of it and you're looking at it through your lens 2 years later, what do you think of when you think of that year?
Man, outstanding, fantastic, just like mind-blowing year. It was just like unbelievable. Like the amount of talent we had, obviously we was able to go and undefeated, win a natty. So it was just like, it's still crazy, like to even think about it. But when you really just was even more crazy, just the amount of players like we had that you can just name, it just was like I said, you got Joe, you got Clyde, you got Jets, you got Jamar, you got PQ, you got Kayla, you got it's so many. You got Grant, it's like it's on Christian Fulton, obviously Derek. So it's like so many pieces that we had, and that was the year. And before that, even though we struggled a little bit, but the year or two before that, we went like 9-3, 10-3, 10-4, or whatever. And then you win a natty championship. So it was steps. Yeah, we built into it. So we kind of knew before like what the kind of team we were going to have. So it was just like that year. It was just like we put
and then the players you mentioned just now, those great players you mentioned. A good handful of those guys going into the year were not thought to be first-round picks. Like Clyde had not really been a consistent starter. Patrick Queen didn't even start the first game against Georgia Southern. Justin Jefferson had shown some ability and some talent, but you wouldn't have said, okay, he's going to be a top 15 pick in the draft and whatnot. So everybody just really came together.
Yeah, I think everybody to as individuals just came into themselves, as players. And that's really, what helped too, not as a whole group, but just like as individuals. Like everybody knew, what they needed to do to get better. And everybody took what they needed to do to get better. And, off season was crazy. The amount of guys you see, working out, like we're working out as a team on our off days. You got recruits coming in to view the stadium, the facility, and we're all, having 7-on-7, like on our own, just out there on our own. Like, but stuff like that, usually like, look, you knew you was gonna have a team. Like, you could have already felt it in there, like, and then like going through spring football and camp, you just kind of knew like, we got ourselves a team. And then when it all just started happening, it just like, you're like, yeah, we knew this at the beginning, what kind of team we were gonna have. So.
Burrow. the stories and you know, everything that's been said and written, and what we saw with our own two eyes and everything. LSU's first Heisman Trophy winner in 60 years. You're around when he gets flattened in that Fiesta Bowl to end 2018 on the pick six.
Oh yeah. One thing about Joe, like we always told him, like I mean, obviously, if you watched him, he just would never slide. You know, he was just like he was willing to take the hit, you know, take the extra yardage. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't care, like, you know, slide, none of that, because he was a quarterback. But it was like those hits like that just like fueled him, like gave him, like, I don't know what it was, but he liked all that stuff. So it was like, you know, it kind of fueled him up and got him like, okay, like after that hit in the Fiesta Bowl, it was, you know, all hell broke loose after that. He just turned into a different person. So
I remember the post-game press conference, Andre, too. He made it very clear, like immediately, the only reason I was down was because I got the wind knocked out of me. He wanted everyone to know that they didn't hit him, like, you know, knock him out completely. It was just that he had lost his or whatever. But, Joe, tough guy.
Real tough guy, you know what I'm saying? Real tough guy. We knew that coming in. Like, he was the same way at practice. Didn't want to slide, you know, like, we can't hit you, you know what I'm saying? You got to go down at some point. But real cool guy, you know, real cool guy, real leader, you know. Always wanting the best for everybody. Always looking for ways to get better. How can he help us? Like, we talking pass rush together. Like, you know, you're a quarterback and you trying to figure out, okay, when y'all sending, like, we talking coverages and stuff like that. Like, he always wanted to be better and make us better. So he helped us out as a defense. So that was always good.
One of your teammates, I remember speaking to, said, you know, that could have gone wrong because in 2018, when he came in over the summer, you had Justin McMillan, Miles Brennan, Lowell Narcisse, who were all kind of been here for a while.
Right.
Two of those guys leave in the middle of the camp. And if Joe Burrow's a bust, then things could have gone downhill.
But what's another thing was crazy. Is like, man, like, you know, if he would have never came here, like, who would we know who Joe Burrow was? You know, that's the crazy part. Like, he probably would have been still up there sitting on the bench, you know, just, you know, waiting his opportunity or whatever.
That's a good point.
If he got it, you know. But it's like, man, it was crazy. Like, you would have had this golden, you know, this treasure. Just hidden gem.
So at the bottom of the
and nobody would have never known, you know, about him. That's what's really crazy to me. Like this is the guy they had on the bench, like so.
Right. But then you see the guys who played at Ohio State.
Exactly. So that's like, which is crazy. Is like, man, he would have been somewhere like sitting on the bench, and nobody would have even probably knew who he was.
I mean, I went to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I'm up there, and there's Justin Fields. Fields standing right next to him, you know, from Ohio State. And so
it was crazy.
yeah, but no, to your point, when he came over, it's like, okay, this guy's played a handful of games at Ohio State. He may be a serviceable guy. Hopefully, you know, it works out.
But he was definitely a man on a mission. When he got here, he knew what he needed to do. He needed to know what he needed to accomplish because he's already had graduated. So I'm pretty sure school wasn't in his mind.
He knew to be a priority.
Exactly.
He knew football.
Exactly, football, and he knew he came in here with a mission, and I think he accomplished that. So
I think
he definitely accomplished that.
And what a special year, what a special team. Something you'll never forget. All the huge wins from the Texas win in Austin that night. I saw Bevo in person for the first time, Andre. Never seen that big, you know. Cool. And I just, the crowd, it was 100,000 people. I think it was like 100 degrees that day or something. And the 3rd and 17 played at Jefferson. You know, in the old days, you run a draw play, get 5 yards, punt, and hang on. Not here.
Taking chances.
Yeah.
Taking chances. You never know. Take chances. But the most memorable that we played was that, obviously, the national championship, but, you know, being able to play that in New Orleans and, you know, Louisiana, you know, that's like something that was big for a lot of people. A lot of people on that team, too. Most guys were from around this area in Louisiana, so that was big. That was real big.
Yeah, and I mean, I go all the way back to covering the 2011 team, which for a long part of the year they were saying this could be the greatest team in college football history. The way they were beating people, it was a defensive-driven team. The 2019 team played their share of great defense, but it was an offensively driven team. In 2011, you had a battering rushing attack with Spencer Ware and some of those people. But, you know, they lost the national championship game to Alabama, and just along the way, I just didn't want that to happen to you guys.
Yeah.
You know, you know, worried, paranoid about what could go wrong when Burrow gets hit against Auburn on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, is he
like,
hurt? Is he getting up?
Yeah.
But you finished the deal. You sealed the deal, and Coach O made it clear before you went over there, hey, we're going to win a football game. I don't have to worry about guys being on Bourbon Street or their focus.
Everybody knew what we needed to do. Like, we got to this point for a reason. We went through a lot. We had to do a lot to get to this moment. Like, now we got to finish. That was the main thing. Finish. Like, does all that matter? Like, it doesn't matter, like, what we did if we don't win this game right here. So we knew what we had to do. And everybody, you know, pulled together, obviously, like we've been doing all year. And it was like, look, like, and then went out there, everybody did what they needed to do. And
fell behind 17-7.
Oh, but that, yeah, everybody was, you know, and we were a little bit too, but at the same time, we still knew, like, the game ain't over.
Yeah.
The game ain't over till, you know, it's full quarter and you see all zeros. But
I remember talking to Coach O, he says when it was 17-7, they got the ball, and he said if Clemson scores here, we may be in trouble, and you guys made a stop, and then, you know, came back and obviously kind of just boat raced them the rest of the way in that game. So.
Yeah. Once we got up on them, we knew, okay, now we got them. Now it's not. Stay on top of them.
What did you do when you won the, okay, so the confetti falls, you celebrate on the stage, all those guys celebrate. What did you do that night?
Man, we went out, man. I mean, you at home. I ain't gonna lie. We went out and enjoyed it. You at home, man. You gotta enjoy it, right? You with all family, friends, man. We went back to the hotel. Met with our families and stuff. Now it's like, hey, what we about to do to go celebrate? Like, what are we going? Where are we going? We gotta celebrate this moment.
Did you see the sun come
up? Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Had to, man. But it was just like, man, just being there, obviously winning, being in the hometown, and just being around your brothers, man. Because you know, we blood, sweat, and tears all throughout camp, summer workouts. So it's just like when you think about all that to get to this moment and what it took to get to that moment, oh yeah, definitely has some moments.
Well, some people who don't know better think that you guys, you know, football players, you know, it's cushy, they get what they want, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so they don't understand that, yeah, these guys have to go to study hall and take the test and go to the classes. And really there is no day, there is no time off for these guys. From strength and conditioning to spring football, to strength and conditioning summer, fall camp, games, and then it starts all over.
It's like a job, you know. You got to work. You go to class in the morning. After class over, you come straight over here. You eat lunch, come straight over here. You got to practice. You get off the field about 4 or 5. Are you done? You're leaving here. Get off the field like 4 or 5. Then you got treatments and stuff like that, study hall, stuff like that. So you're not getting home till about 8. So your whole day is, you know, school and football. So and then sleep and do it all over again. So it's pretty routine. It's the same, you know, robotic thing, but, you know, I mean, this is what we chose, this is what we signed up to do. So we love it, you know, but like you say, everybody outside is like, oh, we get what, but we got to do a lot to get what we want, you know, and to get where we want to be. So especially if you love the game and you want to go like to NFL and stuff like that, like just the sacrifices we have to make to be where we want to be.
Well, just think of all the guys you've been around here since you've been here. Guys that are in the league, Leonard Fournette and Tre'Davious and Jamal Adams.
Oh yeah.
And then, like you said, the 2019 team.
Oh yeah.
Devin White. You know, so there's just so many guys.
A lot of guys, man, they come through here, but you know, a lot of personal statements who, you know, guys who weren't like you got the Darrell Williams of the world, you know, guys, Russell Gages of the world, you know, who didn't, you know, wasn't a lot talked about, you know, but you know, are doing fantastic in the league right now. You know, they went, you know, they probably didn't go where they wanted to go, went, you know, the free agency route, but, you know, anybody can do it. All
Matt
you need
Canada,
is
to his credit, you'll see that year, and he utilized those two guys.
Oh, yeah. And all you need is an opportunity, and the main thing is just to make the most. That's the same we're here. You know, make the most of your opportunity, regardless. Like we say, like next man up, like we say with all the injuries, like you got to be prepared for, you know, the guy in front of you, he might get hurt. You got to be ready. You got to prepare for whatever the circumstance may be.
What do you think went wrong after 19? I know it's a loaded question. There's a lot of different things that went wrong, but
it was just a lot going on. First of all, you lose what, 19? We lost like 19 players.
The team got gutted.
Yeah, we lost. I mean, obviously, you know, that's given because we just won a national championship. With the amount of players that we lost, you can see, you know, it's understandable. But you lose a lot of players. Then we had COVID. COVID hit us hard. Couldn't be around each other. Couldn't do much. And then we bring in a new DC, especially for a defense aspect. We bring in a new DC. We couldn't really learn or do anything with them because COVID. So we couldn't be around each other, couldn't really work out. Everything we had to do were on our own, even individuals. So when we did meet, it was on Zoom and stuff like that. So that played somewhat affected. Then we only had camp together to do. You know, we had to kind of smash everything in like one little week or two before the season started. That, then you got the whole Black Lives Matter stuff going on. It was just like a lot going on, and then like, you know, going back to just not being able to be around each other in practice like how we would with spring and all that, summer, and working out together to feel, you know, what kind of players we got, what kind of team we got, to see where we at, you know, where we need to develop. We weren't able to do that. Like we went straight to camp and then boom, the season. So it was just a lot of stuff going on that season.
Yeah, and you had, you know, you and I kind of talked off camera about the racial tensions and whatnot. Something that was has always kind of been there in society, but really came to the surface in the summer of 2020, and how that was handled. And there was talk that it wasn't handled that well over here when you guys initially brought it to Coach O. Yeah,
it was just something we decided to do on our own. You know, we didn't really much bring staff or nothing. Like, we came together in the locker room as a team. We came together and like, look, man, like, this is what we wanted to do. Everybody was on board. And we did it for ourselves, for our community, and what was going on at that point in time. So went out there and did it. A lot of people were doing it and stuff like that, but it meant more to us. You know, we didn't want to make it a big thing. Like, we wanted to do it on our own and make this decision on our own, and that's what we did. So maybe we could have told, you know, some other people about what we did or whatever like that. But
was it emotionally charged?
Yeah, it was. That's what it was. Yeah. So, you know, we just came together as brothers and just decided, like, look, this is what we're going to do. This is what we had planned. We planned it as a team, and then we went out and did it. So.
Us sitting here right now in December of 2021 as opposed to August of 2020, how much do you think that has improved?
It's gotten better as far as like the Black Lives Matter stuff. Yeah, it's gotten better. In some places it could, you know, be it could use some improvement. But that main thing of that whole little Black Lives Matter marches and stuff was like that, to be heard. And that's what I think we're getting, is heard. In certain places, like I said, it could be worked on, but we're being heard. The conversations are being talked about, is what we wanted, regardless if it's athletes, higher up. But just from the athlete standpoint, we just wanted to be heard. You know, this is what's going on. This is what we're dealing with. We just need help. We want somebody to listen and understand what we're going through, and help us, you know. And that's all around the world. We just want to be heard, man, with everything that's going on, and we wanted justice. And in some places, like I said, some places we got justice. Some places, you know, it's still in the works. But that helped. That whole little movement helped to be heard and people to understand, like, okay, we need to sit down and really, like, figure out what's going on. And that's what we wanted. And in some areas, we accomplished that. Well,
and then after that, on the field, you had your best year as a Tiger in 2020. I know you maybe had to look around and say, man, I wish Tiger Stadium was packed right now as I sacked this quarterback.
Oh, yeah, it was weird. It was weird coming off the 2019 season and then coming to, like I said, obviously we knew COVID, but it's just like nobody was really there because of the whole COVID stuff like that. So it was a bit weird to, you only got like, what, 25%? People that can only come in there, so it's like you had little
it dropped
people.
As the year went on.
Yeah,
it's like a party, right? if you go to a party and there's nobody there, it's like, I don't want to go to a party, right?
Yeah, it was just weird because a lot of the times, you know, we feed off the crowd's energy. Like, you know, you get chills when the crowd is just like, you know, going crazy before the game.
Player,
oh
right?
yeah, you feed off that. We trying to get the.
Right.
We can't do that like if nobody's out there. So it's like
cardboard people.
Yeah, they just looking. So we can't really like, you know, because that helps, you know. Kind of throws off the opposing offense, but you know, at that point in time, in that era, we couldn't really do nothing. So
I've talked about it a few times. Sorry to cut you off, but I was driving when y'all played Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is LSU Alabama, and we drove straight down Nicholson. I mean, no traffic.
Oh yeah,
nothing.
That's how you knew.
Around. Where is everyone?
That's how you knew. Like even when we're leaving Live Cook and we're driving, you know, usually you see a bunch of people like hitting the bus, you know, seeing us going on the way to Tiger Walk. It's just like straight shot. Ain't nobody really out there. Tiger Walk was pretty much
a sprinkling of
you know, here and there.
The entrance.
Yeah. So it was just a weird feeling. But I mean, like I said, we still had to go out and play. You know, we still had to do what we had to do. And for me personally, it was just like an opportunity that year. Going into that year was like it was an opportunity for me. My first year, you know, fully starting, like, you know, obviously I said, like, Arden Key, you had Arden Key, then Caleb on Chase and Mike Divinity, you had those guys, and then, you know, hearing from all those guys too, just like, look, nah, you the next man up. So you got to make the most of your opportunity. This is the moment you've been waiting for. So I took that opportunity and ran with it. So.
Anthony, that maybe they don't, and you're obviously rehabbing and try to get yourself ready for the NFL draft in the spring.
I'm working. I'm working hard to get back out there on the field. Now it's like me preparing. Now I'm preparing for the next level. So just making sure I'm doing what I got to do right now to, you know, be there for the team, still be that leader while I'm still here, and still, you know, make sure I'm grinding and doing what I need to do in the training room, so that whenever my opportunity comes on that next level, I'm ready for it and I take full advantage of it.
There's so many routes to get there too, right?
Oh yeah. Always.
I mean, we hope you get drafted, right? But I mean, how many guys have not been drafted and somehow get on, you know, as a free agent, and then they earn a contract where they get paid, and so it's.
Oh yeah, it's always. But you got, like I said, you got testimonies. Like I said, I use Darryl all the time. Like look at Darryl right now. Look at Darryl Williams. You know, look at Russell Gage. You know, guys who went free agent. And it's probably plenty more that.
Well, you're a Saints fan, right?
Yeah.
Pierre Thomas, Lance Moore.
So I'm like, you got guys who, like I said, the main thing is just taking that opportunity. All you need is an opportunity. You just need an opportunity. And what you do with that opportunity is on you. So that's the main thing. So it's regardless if it's second, third, seventh round, as long as you get picked up and you make the most of that opportunity, the sky's the limit. You know, you can do whatever you want and just, you know, be that great for that team or where you at, and just, you know, do what you need to do. So that's my main thing. I tell a lot of guys, you know, even we're here or the next level, just make the most of your opportunity.